Deary me. He just leapt back into his bed.
Behave. Bad boy. He's. I don't know why. He just knows we're going to record. I just went fucking hyper.
I know. He's just very excited by just us sitting and talking. Basically.
Yeah, because I'm excited too, John. Because it's Stranger Things Part 2.
Very good. Yes, it is. Goodness me, it's I've been on quite an odyssey this past week.
Yeah.
I suppose so. Yeah. What Lee and I decided obviously by last week was that we'll just get me to go through the entirety of Stranger Things.
Yeah, may as well.
Since and what I've done in the past 2 weeks. Past week? How long was it? Past week?
They watched them for 2 weeks.
Past 2 weeks? I don't know. So at some point, over recent periods of time,
Yeah.
I've watched both season 2 and season 3.
Oh, cool.
And I've also started. I think I'm up to episode 3.
So you watched 3 movies.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm up to episode 3. I think of either 3 or 4 of season 4.
Nice.
So I've
binged it.
Literally, I've whipped through it, and I told Jamie this, and he was like, "Did you have nothing else to do?" I was like,
Obviously not.
Apparently not. No. But no, yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it's an exciting daily.
Yeah, it is an exciting
because obviously we're talking about Stranger Things, which obviously is exciting, but more importantly, just have to get this out of the way.
Our government's on fire.
Our government is literally going to the dogs,
and I'm loving every moment.
It's pretty fun. So at the time of recording, because obviously this will come out when this is all over. So I say all over when
it's gonna get. To be fair, it's gonna be tomorrow when this is posted.
Oh well, yeah, there we go then. So it's so when the time this comes out, Boris Johnson will have resigned. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, so it's been a long time coming. This,
yeah.
It, bloody hell, that man has. I don't think I've seen. Well, I say seen. I mean, I don't think we've come across this sort of, political disgrace. I think since Richard Nixon. This is really the Watergate scandal, but of our time, really, isn't it? Really.
Who would have thought that a sex scandal that didn't involve him was the thing that put him down?
I know, literally. Bloody hell, literally, I found it so funny that the bloke who he wheeled out to the press to say, he knew nothing of it. Boris Johnson's totally not to blame. And then literally on the same day or the day after, he went, yes, it was totally my fault. I knew everything about it. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And then that bloke went, fuck you, I'm resigning.
Yeah.
Partygate, I know Brexit was something that he accomplished and everything, but the fallout from that,
because it's looking good with the Blur Pack right now.
I know, Lurpak being £9 a tub, fucking,
petrol's double.
Yeah, Dominic Cummings.
Oh, Dom Cummings.
Dominic Cummings. The petrol being through the roof. Bloody the sex scandal. It just goes on and on and on, isn't it? This man.
It's been a wild ride.
It has been a wild ride, and literally, and it started to feel like he could survive anything. Literally, he gets.
Oh, he's a cockroach.
He gets shot. He gets stabbed. A piano falls on him. He marches on. Doesn't matter. He continues. But now, it's taken the resignation of not only the health secretary, Sajid Javid, but the chancellor of the Exchequer,
and about
Rishi Sunak, has turned his back on him. And even the new one.
Oh yeah, he got hired 2 days later by.
You've got to go. Telling the Prime Minister he's got to go. And then opened the floodgates of, is it now 53 or 55?
50 odd, it's in the 50s.
50 odd resignations of his cabinet. Or just MPs in general. This is seismic. And I was thinking, surely, this has got to be it. And it has. He has announced today that he is going to be resigning. As of the time of recording, he hasn't come out and said anything yet. Because, at the minute, it's currently...
It's 11:30.
It's coming up to... It's just after 11:20.
In the morning.
In the morning, and he has not come out and said anything yet. But I'm not even sure what's going to happen. If he does come out and say something, I don't know if we're going to be stopping to watch it and then immediately resuming. We'll see what happens. Yeah, crazy times.
Stranger times.
Stranger things have happened.
I don't think Stranger Things has happened. To be honest, but yeah, a good segue.
A good segue, but
Let's
yeah.
actually talk about the shit we're going to talk about today.
Yes, we'll actually do that. But yeah, crazy times, and it'll be interesting to see who the next leader is. But yeah, hope you're all keeping safe out there, and I hope you're all keeping checked in on what's currently going on. Because we were debated a little jokingly maybe that we're gonna dart down to Westminster or to Downing Street rather, and then do live coverage of it.
You know what? But the train price is cool.
Oh God, I know.
Shouldn't we be striking over them?
Oh God, that'll be a separate podcast, I think. But anyway, no, yes. On a lighter note, yes. So Stranger Things season 2.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when this first came out, Lee?
Remind me what happens, because it's been since the first.
So
time I watched it.
In the second one,
Will he's what's going on? So he's still connected. I remember that.
It's. I'll be real with you. Which will be a little taste of like what I'll say to come. It's pretty much season 1 again, but with a new lick of paint, basically.
Is it the big boy, the big enemy this time? Or was it...
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. It's so it's set at Halloween.
Yes.
And we introduced some new cast members.
Max.
Yes, Max is introduced at this point, and her
brother,
and her insane brother Billy.
Yeah.
Who the two of them are very much literal Mad Max like homages.
Yeah.
Not only in name, but Billy is kind of an amalgamation of like that Mel Gibson Mad Max Road Warrior sort of thing. Everything from like East Demeanor to not necessarily the clothes. I felt like with the clothes, it's like in the hair, he's kind of like straight up like 80s bad boy sort of thing going on. But the car very much is like, oh, we're doing Mad Max a little bit here, which I found really cool. And but yeah, it's Will is still connected to the Upside Down.
Yeah.
And he's going through a bit of turmoil. He's this poor kid is suffering through so much trauma.
Yo, yeah.
Which is rife throughout this entire show, to be honest with you, not just in this season, and it's interesting because I mean, like I say, it seems to follow the same beats as the first season, in terms of like so like we establish a new character. Will seems to be the focus yet again of the of like the inciting action of him like being really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Traumatized, well, I guess one for a better word, by actually like what he went through, and everyone thinks like, oh, it's just him like dealing with his PTSD and stuff like that, which is understandable. But no, he is actually physically connected to this new big bad, which is like,
Mind Flayer?
The Mind Flayer? Is that what it is? Is that what it's called?
The Mind Flayer, yeah.
The Mind Flayer.
It's from Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay, right.
Every single enemy they call, they give a name.
From Dungeons and Dragons, right? Yeah. Cool, yeah. So like the Mind Flayer. Flare? Am I saying?
Flayer, like
Flayer,
like
okay.
Flare and skin.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. Mind Flayer. Yeah. So like he's like the king of the Upside Down or something like that, or it feels like he is or whatever. Or he's just a big bad boy.
Yeah.
And he's tormenting Will because Will keeps like snapping back and forth, from that to the Upside Down and stuff, which then ultimately accumulates in Will being possessed.
Yeah.
By the Mind Flayer, and which he then acts as like as sort of a conduit to allow a new army of creatures called Demodogs.
Yes.
Which Dustin aptly names.
Demogorgons, but dog.
Demogorgons, but in dog form, yeah. Literally, and it all accumulates in like a big raucous romp, in the town of Hawkins. Well, in the laboratory. The laboratory returns again, But this time, the fella who runs the laboratory is actually a nice guy. I can't remember his name, but he's actually a nice fella. He's not Matthew Modine, who was this really sinister character. I found that quite refreshing, actually. That was one of the elements of the series that I found, of this one, that I found quite interesting. It's like, we're not going to do the same thing again. Is this guy actually trustworthy? Because you don't know at the beginning, you're like, oh, is he a bit like, is he trustworthy? Is he just like doing this just to like win their trust or whatever, and then fuck them over a little bit later on? But no, he's actually like, he's been brought in to sort of clear this mess up and sort of sort it out and ultimately help this kid. And you wonder, like, is he doing it because he's obligated because of his job, or does he actually care? And then it's later on when he's arguing with his colleagues, it's like, no, he actually does care. And it's like, and I thought, oh, good, that's actually quite interesting. And there's loads of twists and turns. So that's my summary. What do you remember what you thought of it when you first watched it?
I probably would have enjoyed it. I mean, I got through all the other seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep on thinking, like, was it as good? But like, I enjoyed it when I watched it. Even I've got through season 4 now.
Yeah.
I sat the entire Monday, 4.5 hours straight, watching the two films that came out.
That came out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I think
well invested.
Yeah, I think season 2. Right, first of all, I don't think from what I've seen altogether of Stranger Things, I don't think there's been I mean, granted, I haven't finished season 4.
Yeah.
I have technically still just started watching it. But I don't think there has been a bad season, really, of Stranger Things. I mean, it's funny when you said when you said this maybe should have been a one and done thing, and I kind of understand that argument. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but I
don't agree with it now watching it.
Yeah, watching season 4, yeah.
Like I said, it was just based on memories and stuff. I'm thinking, like,
yeah,
should have really been one.
Should it have been one? I mean, I know that a lot of people on the internet think that. And after watching season 2, I kind of understood that argument, because I was like, season 2 I think is the worst one. I think that season 2 is probably the weakest season. Not that it's bad by any means.
Our ranking stuff, one's got to be down anyway. If all 4 bangers, you've got to rank one of them
as being the least banger, and I think I think season 2 is the least banger.
Yeah.
For me, season 1 is still up there at the top. I'll get into what I think about season 3 in a later episode, but it's like, season 2 is good. It does things quite well in terms of like introducing new characters like Max and Billy and Bob. Oh, we'll get into Bob in a minute. But it sort of did the same thing. It was kind of the same plot as the first one, where like there's Will yet again is like the source of driving the plot forward, and like Nancy and Jonathan are doing their thing, even though they further their relationship and actually become a couple, which is lovely, which we all knew was coming. Hop's doing his own investigation, which ultimately leads everyone together at the end, towards the end rather, and it's like, okay, and Elle is still like a mystery character, like she was in the first one, and it's like, okay, sure, and then once everyone figures things out towards the end, like shit hits the fan, and then okay, we're gonna band together and fight the Demodogs and close the gate, and Elle will almost sacrifice herself to use her powers to do that, and I'm like, okay, great. I mean, there was some stuff in there that was slightly different that I enjoyed, but it was
largely the same,
more or less the same thing. And I'm like, it's okay, great, lovely, but I that's why I understood. I was just like, maybe it should have been a one and done thing at that point, because nobody knew what was to come with Stranger Things. But it was like, I was like, I enjoyed it, because I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the setting, I enjoy everything that comes around it, and the aesthetic and what have you. But it's like, are we just gonna do the same thing? I don't know. that being said, it does do things very well. I think the introduction of Max is a very refreshing character, and she does do the character arcs wonders, I think, by introducing this very interesting character trait of Mike. Mike's not a nice guy, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not, is he? Like, I started I mean, I understand. I understand. You know, that he really likes that. Obviously, he developed feelings for 11.
Yeah.
He developed feelings for 11, and obviously, he you know, more or less fell in love with her, and was like, okay, she's dead. I miss her. I'm gonna call her every day on the radio, which was like, you know, which is sweet, sentimental, you know, and this, that, and the other. And you understand when Max comes in, she is like a sort of a pseudo replacement for 11's presence in the group, in the group dynamic, and you understand where he's coming from. Of course, Mike is going to be the one who's not really keen, but he goes about it in such a way that reveals, I think, a quite a bit of his personality a little bit, you know, because in the first season, he's kind of like, he's very much the natural leader of the group.
Yeah.
He's, you know, he's sort of quite level-headed. He's sort of fairly, you know, he's quite fair. He's quite understanding, you know, and he's sort of the one who's like, I mean, yeah, he shows that, like, that stubbornness because he thinks he's right, but very much in the same way that Lucas does in the first season. And then, like, and you kind of don't like Lucas initially in the first season, because Lucas is like really skeptical, but you understand his skepticism, but again, he's going about it in a way that, like, he's like, we're gonna get this, she's gonna get us all killed, and, you know, maybe he was right in a sense.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, and Mike is just thinking with his dick. But it's like, but no, there is that compassion, and ultimately they compromise, and it's fine. But in this season, it's like Mike doesn't really show like any of the qualities of a leader. You know, he doesn't really show, in my opinion anyway, he doesn't really show any like redeeming qualities. He's just really pissed off with this girl all the time. He's like, she's ruining our party, she can't be in, because I miss my dead girlfriend. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, mate, you have troubles moving on, but come on, you know what I mean? And that was kind of planting the seeds for me, for him starting to become like a really unlikable character, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on Mike? I realize I've just spoke like for like.
If I'm going back from, because mine's blend together. Season 3, does he have a bit of redemption? Does he get better?
Not really.
Not better.
Not really. I mean, not particularly. Anyway. I mean, that's season 3, but it gets worse in season 3.
Oh yeah, it's like it's girls versus boys, isn't it?
Kind of. Yeah. Well, yeah, but yeah, he's just a cock. Honestly, like, I mean, he really is a douchebag, and I don't know what. I suppose really that's a really interesting character arc, though. Do you know what I mean? It's like the rest of them kind of do like a role reversal. Really, it's like, because Lucas, you understand that Lucas maybe is the one character who maybe is the one who's like quite quick to judge things and what have you, but in this season, actually, in season 2, you know, obviously, Bailey is so excited.
Yeah,
he's running around the room. What are you doing, boy?
He wants to play. That was a jump in a fucking hole.
My leg!
That was a dive, Bailey.
God. But yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, so like, talking about Lucas and so Lucas is the one, obviously. I mean, they have like a natural, like, it's like Dustin and Lucas, they obviously have like a natural attraction to Max, because like, oh, she's the new girl, you know, she's fairly attractive or whatever, do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, obviously boys are going to be boys in that sense. But like, you know, Lucas takes the time to sort of say, like, you know, like, look, you know, just give her a chance, you know, she's shown that, like, you know, she's gotten in, like, she can be trusted, she can be a friend or whatever, you know, and I'm going to take the time to actually like explain like what's going on. And he's like, if you understand that if I tell you this, your life is now at risk.
Yeah.
And it's like, but she doesn't believe him because of, why would she? Do you know what I mean? And I really thought that was really interesting that oh my god, that Lucas sort of takes on that position. This
Why? There's no one there. You're talking in your mouth, staring at us.
He's not a fan of my critical analysis of this season.
Not.
Obviously, he does not agree. Now, when Bailey made his appearance in Stranger Things,
he likes Stranger Things 3.
Does he? Is that his jam? Is it?
Yeah, he wants to get on. He wants to get on with 2 and get on to 3.
But yeah. So I found it really interesting though that Lucas sort of more or less took on that level-headed position of that. Not necessarily leadership position, but he sort of took on that look, let's do things clearly here. Let's do things level-headedly. Let's calm down and sort of because this girl deserves to know because she's given that trust and everything. And it's and Dustin comes into his own here. This is when he really starts. I mean, yes, he makes a mistake of taking care of D'Artagnan.
Yeah.
It's a demon dog, dude. Come on, you know what I mean? It's what did you expect was going to happen? Kill the fucking thing, you know what I mean? But it looks like a frog as well.
Yeah, it's
awful. I hate frogs. Bailey is licking the microphone. But did you know that about me?
Didn't know you hated frogs.
Did you not know I hated frogs?
I know you're not a fan of Vikings.
No, it's not Vikings. I don't mind Vikings. I don't mind Vikings. I'm just a little bit terrified of. I can't even say it, can I? Really?
Not really. It's
no,
really
it's no, but it's yeah. But anyone who knows me knows what I'm scared of. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. But anyway, so yeah, I don't like frogs either. I think they're fucking awful. And that's funny enough. That's one of the first things that me and Katie, my girlfriend, bonded over. Our shared hatred of frogs, because she lives in Prideaux, which is an area in Northumberland. But apparently, I've not seen this yet. I went times when I've been in her house, but apparently, when it rains or whatever, there's a castle in a moat nearby, and an army of frogs apparently descend upon where she lives, which the thought sends shivers down my spine.
Fair enough.
Can you imagine that though?
It wouldn't freak me out, to be honest.
Why would that not? How can that not freak you out, man?
My grandparents used to have a pond. There used to be frogs in there all the time.
Dude,
they're
horrific creatures. They're awful.
I don't mind them.
Oh my god! Honestly, they're awful.
No, spiders.
I mean, spiders aren't pleasant, but I'm not terrified of them.
Oh, the way they move creeps me out. The bigger, the scarier.
Oh yeah, massive spiders are a bit whoa, what's going on here? But I mean, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's Jamie fucking hates spiders. He has to know where if there's a spider in the room, he has to know where it is.
Yeah.
At every moment, he has to know where it is.
Yeah.
Because he's that scared of them,
Sasha's like that. I'm a bit better, but I'm still but it depends on the size. If there's a story, I think I might have told this before, not on the podcast, but you. There was a time when I was by myself in my old flat, and then I just looked over and I saw this fucking huge spider. I'm talking, what, leg span going like that?
Yeah, gigantic.
Yeah,
spider.
Putting your thumb to your finger, kind of size thing.
Yeah.
And I just went, fucking hell! And shouted so hard and ran away, and I was like, oh shit. And then I just couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, oh no, this thing has to go.
Yeah.
It's a fight or flight here.
Yeah.
Don't like harming spiders, but it's fight or flight. It's kill or be
killed.
Oh
yeah, it's it's survival.
I hate it. I've got that instinct. I'd rather let them live, but
well, it's
it's the size of it. So I was searching everywhere for this spider. I named it Cotton Eye Joe. Because where'd it come from? And more importantly,
where did it go?
I remember seeing it. It was in the living room. I tried to get to it.
That's so funny.
Tried to get to it, couldn't find it. Ran out the bedroom. Was like, I cannot leave that in the bedroom. It's
No.
like, Sasha's gonna be back soon.
There's
It's like,
no
this
way.
thing's not gonna be there if she's like coming back.
The bedroom is no place for a spider.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's no place for it. I
So
mean,
I had a shoe and I was tapping things trying to see where it was,
aye.
and then I was just on top of the bed and I was like, I can't see it anywhere.
Did
And
it
I
ma-
looked over and it was, you remember my old flat was like bedroom, hallway, living room.
Living room, yeah.
I saw it in the like hallway and I was like, shit. Then I started running towards it and I just threw a shoe. I just get it and I was like, this is the most terrifying half an hour of my life.
I know. Like the adrenaline must have been running through you like crazy. I mean, because you're, especially your old flat. I mean, your especially your living room was like a mini museum, wasn't it? It was just everything was just like collected together. It was quite fun.
It was just this.
It
but,
was
like,
it was
my
literally this, yeah.
fabled bookcase just along that living room.
I know. I mean, have you actually like shown what your bookcase looks like on the Twitter page?
No, I haven't.
You should probably do that. I mean,
Yeah.
like just because I keep referencing this bookcase.
I mean, I need to tidy up. There's a fucking huge TV here that's supposed to go in the bedroom.
It is a big ass TV
'Cause
that
I'm
I'm right next to.
still doing stuff in my living room.
Yeah.
So everything's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
But
this office right now is half office, half storage.
but it is getting there though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah, but it's
Should be soon.
it'll be fine. But no, I mean yeah, frogs fucking awful things. And that is what D'Artagnan reminded me of. It reminded me of a frog because they actually mention it's like a tadpole with legs.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fucking hell, man. It's like awful. It's fucking awful. But yeah, like it was interesting to see that the bullies didn't make an appearance in this season again.
Nah.
They
They just got too scared of Elle.
literally, they were just gone. Like they don't even come up in season 4.
No.
I suppose it's a different school that they're going to. I suppose, isn't it? It's like
They're in high school.
yeah, they're in high school now. But anyway, I actually the moments that I really enjoyed, I quite enjoyed, like I say, Dustin's sort of starting to step up a little bit, in terms of like his capability of being like taking charge of situations. So
Yeah.
like he kind of becomes like the leader in that sense, really. Like I mean, because like Dustin there's no nonsense with that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just like, boom, let's fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Him and Steve's relationship.
This is the genesis of his and Steve's relationship,
Yeah.
and it is beautiful to watch. It's like, it's this whole thing of like fucking, it just happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd like, because when you look back on it, it's like it just happens. Like he just turns up at he just turns up like give flowers to Nancy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because Steve and Nancy break up in this season, quite volatilely, really, and you feel quite and again like you feel so bad for Steve because like Steve I think probably has the best character arc
Oh god, yeah.
out of everyone because like he starts off, like I said in the previous episode, he starts off in that archetypal douchey boyfriend who you know that you're not gonna like, and he's like, oh, he's doing that thing where, well, he doesn't. I mean, does he pressure Nancy into anything? Does he really? I don't know.
No.
Not. I mean, he's keen.
Oh yeah.
He's horny,
Yeah.
but he's a teenage boy. Do you know what I mean? He's a teenage lad. We're all horny. You know what I mean? So he just wants to get his leg over. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, and that's everybody does that. But I don't know if he. I'll have to watch it again, obviously, but like I don't recall him pressurizing like Nancy because she does it of her own volition. She does it of her own free will, and it's like, but that's not to say that he didn't pressure her, of course. But she still like seems to be like, I mean, obviously she gravitates more towards Jonathan because like Steve kind of fucks it a bit. He does give in to that, like, I have to be popular, I have to be the alpha male, I have to be like this really protective boyfriend. And in the second season, he's kind of trying to rectify that a little bit, but by that point, I think the damage was already done.
Yeah.
And she says, quite heartbreakingly when she's pissed, like, you're bullshit, we're bullshit. Like, we just want to pretend that Barbara isn't dead, and that we're just gonna move on as if everything's normal or what have you. And it is, you do feel bad for Steve because he is just trying to do his best, bless him. He does, because I think Steve is a very good representation of not only the typical young man, but also the typical young man's tendency to make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I get it, because like I think, not to be sexist, because of course everybody makes mistakes, but I think young men, we tend to make mistakes more so than most people. Because we're either thinking out of pride, like I know better, I won't be told what to do. I know what I'm doing, sort of thing, and also, and more tragically, I'm thinking with my penis, sort of thing. And
Sounds like every director we had in uni.
Oh God, yes, absolutely, absolutely. That was a fun time, wasn't it? Honestly, do you include me in that?
No, but probably in some bits.
In some bits, yeah,
we did
probably.
fight with teachers.
Oh my God, right? Dude, don't get me started on that, right? Honestly, it still makes me angry today thinking about it. Just for context, I don't know if I've shared this story, but if I have, then I'm telling you it again. But we were in university, and we had this module called experimental film,
which was the worst.
Which was probably although what came out of it, I'm still quite proud of today.
Yeah.
But it was a terrible module. And what we had to do was we had to so the class we were in it was called experimental film, and we had this this lecturer called Elaine, and I'm not afraid to name live on this podcast. Elaine was a terrible lecturer, and she sort of was this hippy dippy, oh yeah, I'm all for student rebellion and this, that, and the other, and and this, that, and the other. Do what you want, man. Free 60s. I'm a child of the 60s, sort of thing, and I'm really cool and down with the kids, and fuck you. You know what I mean? Fuck you and your performative bullshit. You know what I mean? And she was leading experimental film. And she was showing us all these different experimental films from various artistic filmmakers over the past few
Pretty
decades.
Much artists for the most part.
All artists really, which admittedly I found really interesting. I mean, because there were some really good experimental films that you couldn't help but admire, but there was also some bullshit that she showed us. There was this one guy who stood in front of a camera and went, "I am making art. I am making art.
About that.
I am making art," and he just kept moving his hands and repeating the phrase, "I am making art." And she was like, "There's a depth to this," and I'm like, "Where is the depth to this?" And so what she wanted us to do was ultimately make our own experimental films. But there was a caveat, right? In preparation to that, when making our experimental films, we had to come up with obviously an idea, but what she wanted us to do was she wanted it to be inspired
by one of these
artists, okay? Or any experimental artist that you or any filmmaker really, or experimental artist that you came across that strikes a chord with you, okay?
So it was experimental, but it wasn't original.
Basically, yes. now that's what it got. That's what it sort of revealed itself to be, because it was
which the irony was, our moving camera was a true experimental, because we could do whatever the fuck
we could do whatever we wanted, and I'll get onto that. Now that's so I mean, I've got nothing against at all, actually, the idea of it being inspired by another artist, because I mean, dude, every film, everything's inspired by other people.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Nothing's original anymore, but there's a difference between being inspired and plagiarism, right?
Yeah.
So I took the whole inspired by thing, quite seriously, and we had to go up and do presentations and do and explain what our idea was going to be, or explain who the artists that we're inspired by and how that would influence our idea. So I went up and I said that my idea was going to be inspired by the works of Andy Warhol, and I said that I'm gonna do his self-portrait videos, where you would put someone in front of the camera and film them, and the longer that he would run the camera for, and just literally have a camera film someone and have them do nothing
Yeah.
but sit there and just look at the camera, they would very quickly reveal that they're uncomfortable, or they would reveal more about themselves just by sitting and doing nothing and just doing what they naturally do. And it's like just like it's basically like the beginnings of like naturalistic documentaries. Do you know what I mean? Like akin to Big Brother or whatever, that sort of thing. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's a reality show, but you know what I mean. Like hidden camera shit. You know. And also I was combining it with the works of Jean Cocteau, who was a sort of absurdist surrealist visual artist from the 1930s who did like loads of like black and white films, and specifically he produced Un Chien Andalou, which is the eyeball thing,
Yeah.
and also The Blood of a Poet, which is a mad trippy like arty movie where statues come alive and shit, and it was a massive influence on my on my final film. But I was explaining that I was going to try and combine these two ideas, but Elaine was like, but what's your idea though? How is it inspired by those two? And I said, well, the same sentiment is there that I'm using for like Andy Warhol stuff, and also like the surrealist elements of Jean Cocteau. And then she was like and German expressionistic stuff, like, and all that, and like Conrad Veidt and all that. And she was like, but they are worlds apart. And I'm like, so what?
It's experimental.
It's experimental. It's the point.
Experiment.
Like, it's an experiment, you stupid woman. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and she was like, they're worlds apart. And she was like, you're not clearly defining like what I still don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, because it's an experiment. You know what I mean? And she was like, I mean, granted, I didn't explain my idea very clearly, but that's because I still wasn't sure of what I was doing. It was still a work in progress, but I knew who I was going to be inspired by. But that wasn't enough for her. She said, if you continue down this, you will fail the module. And I thought, fuck you. You know what I mean? Which was even more surprising because the previous week, when I was explaining my progress, we had this incredible bloke called Martin Schingler.
Yes.
Who was a lecturer at our university, and he was filling in for Elaine, who couldn't be there. And I explained like what I was doing, and he said, "Well, you've got all my favorite people in here." He was like, Jean Cocteau and Conrad Veidt, and and all that sort of stuff, Fritz Lang and all that, And he was like, and he was like, "This sounds great, keep at it." And then after what Elaine had said to me, after she just didn't get it and stuff, and she like because I was quite in depth of like what I wanted to do at that point afterwards, I went to see Martin.
Yeah.
And
he did towards you.
He glided to. That man did not walk. He floated on air. You know what I mean? He had an incredible way of moving. That guy. Everything was smooth. So I went to see him, and I basically told him like how I was feeling, and I was just like, she really like got to us, you know what I mean? And I was like, and I know that like lecturers are meant to scrutinize and challenge students, but it was like an almost, I refuse to understand where you're coming from, and there's no give and take here.
Yeah.
And Martin was like, right, okay, and he said to me, and he went, and forgive me for broadcasting this, Martin, but he went, but they're all gone now, so it doesn't matter.
They're still in this world. They're still in this
They're still in this world. They haven't passed away, but neither of them, as far as I'm aware, are not working at the university. So it doesn't matter. And he went, between you and me,
and our audience.
He went, Elaine likes to be wanted. He went, she loves it when students don't really know what they're doing and don't have like a clear idea of where they're going to go, because she loves to be that person who swoops in, saves the project and helps it and sort of pushes them where they should go. I'm very much the opposite. I prefer to see where students go themselves and see them develop their ideas themselves. And he said, I'm there if I'm needed, but I'd much rather let you figure it out yourself. And he went, and so on that note, you went, just ignore her. You went, just ignore her. You went, because John, you went, you're not going to fail the module, despite what she says, because I'm also going to be the person who's going to be watching these movies, and I'm also going to be marking them with Elaine. You went, you're not going to fail the module. It's a good idea, believe in it, believe in yourself, and just continue doing what you're doing. And I thought that's what I needed, and I did.
Yep.
And I got the second highest mark in the end in the module because I'm really proud of that movie. And and it is a good movie. I'm really quite happy with it. It's called The Portrait, and I have plans one day to turn it into a stage play. I have no idea when it's gonna happen, but I've got people involved, and it's gonna and I swear to God it will happen. I finished a script for it. I know it's gonna happen, but anyway, but like the next week when I'd done, I went out and shot basically like 90% of the film, and I showed a rough cut in class.
Yeah.
And Elaine went, when I went up, she went, "Now, I understand that I heard that you were quite upset by what I said to you last time." And I went, "Yeah, I was, I'm not going to lie. It annoyed me a little bit." And she went, "Would you like to share how you feel about that?" And I just went, "Elaine, I just want to show my work." And she went, "Fair enough." I went, "I am not getting into this. I am not taking..." I went, "I just want to show my work." And I did. And you could tell it rattled her because it was good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, and everybody, bless them. Everyone in that class, bless them, like, really, like, backed me up.
Oh,
they all, like, sort of, like, said, like, how much they really liked it and enjoyed it and stuff, and thought how good it was and all that. And Martin fucking loved it. Martin absolutely adored it, in the end. And he said that, you've just hit all the points like really well, and Elaine even said in the final bit, she went, "I know that I gave you a bit of a hard time, but I'm kind of glad that you sort of
ignored it,
like proved me wrong a little bit, you know what I mean, and that you've managed to do this. It's quite a turnaround." And I thought, fuck you, you know what I mean? I thought, fuck you. But what annoyed me even more,
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
There was this lad called Temmie.
Talented guy. Very talented.
Very talented guy.
Likes melons. Likes singing about melons.
He loves it.
Mangoes, sorry.
Yeah, I hope his music career's doing well at the minute. The fucking homophobe. Literally, like, where did he get off saying that? Like, being gay is a choice. Like, fuck off, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, I just realised I'm throwing so much shade on people in this one.
I don't care.
It's so funny.
I'm living it.
So like he made an experimental film as well, but it was it was very heavily inspired by another artist's work called, what was her name?
Oh, you got me.
I can't remember. It was like some artist who made an experimental film or a series of films about like her hometown, but like her personal connections to that town.
Yeah.
Where it was like a series of shots of that town, and then like it was almost like a spoken poem about what that town meant to her and her personal experiences about being like I think it was about being gay or something like that, or like being I don't know.
Irony.
Oh, the irony, I know. Or it might have been about the fact that she was an immigrant or something. It might have been, I don't know. But like Temmie, because Temmie's Temmie's from Essex, but his family are from from Africa.
Yeah.
And I believe it was his. So the sentiment was quite good. It was about his experiences of being, like, often being like the only black guy in like a predominantly like white like community or whatever,
yeah.
or something. It's a pretty decent, like, good sentiment. My issue was it was fucking plagiarism. It was almost beat for beat exactly the same, exactly the film that he was gonna that he based it off of.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same, and Elaine loved it. She fucking loved it. She lapped it up. Every last bit of its dripping, unoriginal crap content. And she gave it full marks. She gave him like the highest mark in the class, and I thought, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like, here I am, really trying... I mean, granted, the influences are on the sleeve in my film, but in no way does it plagiarize another movie. It doesn't. I really tried to do something original, but inspired by something else. And I honestly, I think I succeeded.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You got the best thing that came out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud of that movie. But that's still not good enough, is it? You know what I mean? And I thought, this is why the university system's broken.
Yeah, because I took half a day to think of mine. Mm-hmm. Got you 2 hours to film it. And I got like a 2 on or something like that.
It's
I
ridiculous.
totally phoned it in. I went for the most pretentious shit I could think of,
Yeah,
and she loved it.
she loved it.
I remember saying she
Loved
called
it.
it delicious.
She did. She did. And I felt so bad for Cameron as well.
Oh, yeah, it's also Joe.
Yeah, so by the way, I was also in that.
You were in like 10 of them.
I was in basically everybody's movie.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it was like Cameron did like I thought a really quite a good original movie.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's your problem.
there's your exactly, and even Martin, you know, unfortunately went, I just don't get it. Like, it's just not, and I suppose there's the danger, isn't it?
Yeah.
These movies are so subject to just taste.
Yeah.
You know, so if the person who's marking it doesn't like it, then you're fucked, basically. You know, which is unfortunate, really. You know, and I think that's the issue with really, you know, I think these kind of circumstances, it's like, you know, because these kind of like outlets and modules and things that like not just university students do, but like just creatives in general, you know, it's like, you know, you're given a doctrine of like, you know, do something original, but don't. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but don't do anything too original, because it's like, you know, it'll someone won't get it, or someone will be offended, or someone will be pissed off, and it's like, well, what are you supposed to do then? Just regurgitate what we've done so far. And I suppose that's why we're in the age of nostalgia, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like remakes after remakes, and you know, and I don't know.
Remakes, reboots, more seasons.
More seasons, exactly. And it's like, you know, but then as you said, we did the music video module, the moving camera module, where we had to
I like
make...
how you call it the music video module, because most of you did that.
I did that, yeah. It was either like for the second half of the year, it's like we had to either do another moving camera portfolio, or you could make a music video to sort of like demonstrate.
It was do anything.
I was just do anything, basically.
You made the music video.
I did,
didn't.
yeah. And that you could do whatever you wanted on that one, and
that was a creative day.
that was so creative. And I had a lot of fun making that movie. I mean, were you involved in Boys Keep Swinging?
I wasn't, no.
No, that's
No.
one of the few.
You were
ones.
involved in mine.
I was involved in yours. Yes. Oh, that was it. Yes. That was great.
Oh, that was a hell of a time.
That was amazing. What we did.
I remember
yeah.
telling Ian my plan, and he was like, really?
God bless Ian, though. Ian was one of the best guys there. You know, Ian was like fucking. I know that we're meant to be talking about Stranger Things, so just start talking about university. But we do apologize. But there was a guy called Ian McPake, and I don't know if Ian will be. It wouldn't surprise me actually if Ian like would come across this and start listening to it. But Ian, salt of the earth, that guy.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely wonderful man. And he had that kind of approach of like, he was like, I'll give you his advice, but ultimately you can do what you like. But, you know, because, I mean, obviously he said that to you, he was like, yeah, really? You know?
Well, it was my plan to jump off a pier.
God, it was, yes, but you ended up jumping into the North Sea.
Yes.
Which was, that was, whoa.
It was the day before the temperature completely dropped, so I was glad I did it on that day.
But it was cold though.
Oh, it's fucking freezing.
Because we did it in
November.
Oh my God.
Didn't start November.
You are a brave man, like. Stupid, but brave. It was hellish conditions, but it was good fun though. It was a really great day. But
My
that's
first
what I
and
mean.
last thing I've ever directed.
First and last. Never directing again.
I've never directed anything else.
Well, that's a bull. Well, give it time, Lee. Give it time. But no, I mean, but yeah, I did a music video for the David Bowie song "Boys Keep Swinging."
Yeah.
And it was really good fun. Really good fun. I got away with it by the skin of my teeth, like, because there's not a lot of moving camera in it.
Yeah.
But it is still quite good fun. And I try to do it like sort of in the kin of the same style of the portrait. I was trying to find my style as a filmmaker, and
Yeah.
I think, you know, I'm trying to look more into like that Kubrickian way of doing things, you know, which I quite enjoy. But yeah, much more experimental than previous things. Yeah, it was great fun. God, yeah, Stranger Things.
What were we talking about?
What were we talking about? I was talking about God, but what was the segue into this? Oh yeah, men making mistakes.
Yes.
That was it. That was it.
Oh my God, that was like 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago. Fuck. But yeah, like Steve makes mistakes. But you know, and then when he comes to like rectify, like Dustin's like, we're going on a quest.
Yeah.
And then what gives birth to their wonderful
Wonderful friendship.
Their wonderful friendship, and the whole thing of like Steve just giving advice to him, just like it's sort of like that big brother sort of like relationship that they have. And I thought that was really great because, and especially when Steve actually like takes on the Demodogs later on, it's like, God, Steve really has like redeemed himself here. Like, he's sort of gone like, okay, fuck the past, I'm gonna move on and move on with myself. And I thought that was great. That was a really wonderful thing to see. And even Lucas and Max's relationship sort of like starting to blossom a little bit, and Dustin's sort of jealousy, which kind of in later seasons that's kind of abandoned a little bit. It's kind of doesn't go anywhere.
Well, like it's been by the start of season 3.
I guess, yeah, it's true. I
Plus,
suppose
he does get to dance with Nancy at the.
Oh, he does, he does. Which, hey, I think any boy at that age would be happy with, And it's like that's another thing as well. It's just like just like loving moments like that where like they all seem to like care about each other and stuff as like as a unit, Right, 11's journey in this season, bit pointless. Do you not think? A little bit. Well,
presumed dead, goes missing, comes back.
Yeah, I mean, she discovers who her mother is.
Yeah. Is this the season that has the other ones that escaped and stuff like the other powers?
Oh,
people?
that utterly pointless episode.
Yeah.
What the fuck was
and
that?
They never ever come back into it.
What was that? It's like that, and that's like the opening scene of the entire season.
Yes, I remember that now. It's jogging my memory.
Yeah, like those guys like committing a bank robbery, and then like, oh my God, there's another one. Was it number 8 or something? Or
can't remember.
Don't know. She was a number. And it's like, oh my God, there's another one. There's another one escaped. She's gonna be a big player in this season. No, absolutely not. You trying to remember what number she was?
No, which has just made me think of thing. Start of season 4, all the kids get elfin lead. They're just dead.
Oh, yes, that's true. Actually, that's not a spoiler because
not spoiler. Well,
because
spoiler for this podcast. Cause
I suppose.
Not spoiler for you because you've already seen it.
I have already seen it, but I haven't seen anything else.
Yeah, but the flashback where all the kids are dead.
Oh yeah, where Elle
they're all numbers
kills. Oh, that explains it then, doesn't it? But did they not
that
get
doesn't
like?
explain it because they're all numbers.
Oh well, yeah. So. What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That actually, yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's just really.
That's just occurred to me. Yeah. Shit.
Unless there was more numbers than they made or whatever.
No, there must be more.
No.
It must be a fresh batch.
Yeah. Well, 6 is dead. Right, get your tattoo out. Fucking 6.
You're the new 6. That must be what it is, though. Must be. Oh well, I don't know. That's very interesting. I'll have to look at that. Anyway, but yeah, this new girl, and her like squadron of like 80s rebels.
Yeah.
They just appear in one episode, but like me and like and Jamie were talking about this, and that was clearly the episode for that was clearly like a mini like feeler pilot thing.
Was that the episode that had like the montage of Bon Jovi?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. And it was like I think that's the episode where like they've tried to put a feeler out to see if audiences have like warmed to these characters.
Yeah.
And if so, then she's getting a spin-off. But no, the general consensus apparently was like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? Like, what was this pointless episode? And do you know what it was? It occurred to me when halfway through the episode, it's just X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
Because she literally goes to her, like Magneto, little Magneto, which is what I'm going to address her as, because I can't remember the rest. I can't remember her number. Little Magneto goes fucking, right, you see that truck? Bring it towards us. I can't. Oh, then use your memories. That brings out inner emotion in you to do it. And then she uses her anger to bring oh, actually no, she should be called Little Professor X. That's it. Yeah, Little Professor X. Yeah, because she's got mind powers and shit. Yeah. Oh my God, it's literally X-Men First Class. It's literally X-Men First Class. And then the two of them like veer off at the end because they have like different views and stuff. But it is the same plot. It's like they're going around like killing all the people who wronged her. That's what Magneto did in like an X-Men First Class. It's like he's going around to find all the Nazis who wronged him. and he's gonna kill them all. And then this other person comes round and says, "This isn't what you should be doing. Like killing people's wrong and all that sort of thing." And yeah, I just found it utterly pointless because they never come up again.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
They were never heard from again.
never heard from again. And I was thinking, what's happening here? It was the first time it was the first time in Stranger Things where I literally said, "What are we doing here?" Like the plot has literally stopped.
Yeah.
Like the story has literally grinded to a halt, and nothing is happening here, other than for Elle to sort of learn this lesson of killing's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, great. Could Hop not have told her that? You know, it's like, could her dad not have told her that? You know, her adopted father, which I found a bit odd initially, because it's like Hopper and Eleven don't really have that much of a connection in the first one,
Yeah.
and yet all of a sudden they do. And I'm like, I'm grateful for it, you know, because it ultimately like turns into quite a.
But I think that connection was he was kept on leaving Egos and stuff in the thing, and they just got more of a connection just by him doing the loot box for.
But why did he do that though?
I don't
Was
know.
it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I mean,
dead daughter probably.
I guess, yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, it's that connection, isn't it? It's like a surrogate daughter sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Sure. But okay. But yeah, it just. I mean, but even when she finds her mom, it's like, okay, she found her mom, and then nothing. You know, it's like. But then again, what could you do in that situation if she is like literally a vegetable? Then what? I don't know. I just found it a little bit unfocused, a little bit, and then she sort of just reappears at the end to save the day.
Yeah.
You know, because she's the only one with powers, and it's like, okay, great. And then I was kind of felt a little bit. I was like, okay, great, fine, but Bob. Oh, Bob. Honestly, that beautiful man.
Yeah. You gotta love him. You gotta love Sean Astin anyway, no matter what he's in.
Lovely man. You know, I mean, when I first met him, I was just like, oh, he's gonna die. You know, I was like, he's gonna die because he's irritating. But then no, he turns into like the sweetest man ever. You know, and I'm like, oh my god. And then that bit where he's dancing with Joyce.
Yeah.
And he said like, oh, you know, you don't have to be sad. Like maybe we could be a family, and you know, it's all gonna be okay. And then she believes it, and I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I'm gonna be so gutted when he dies, because he's gonna die, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, of course Bob's gonna die. This is another Barbara situation.
Yeah.
You know, but worse, because it's like we care even more about Bob. You know, and it's like that scene in the lab where he's like, I'm gonna go and rejig the what's it called, the computers or whatever, and he does it, but he leaves his gun behind, and I'm like, oh my god, Bob, man, just I mean to be fair, even if he had the gun, I'm not sure he would have
survived.
I'm not sure he would have survived anyway. But like that scene where like, and that professor, that like doctor bloke, who's good on him, you know, like I thought like he has like two characters who've just been introduced here, and I love them both. And he's like, you're almost there. I'm gonna get you out. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I mean, you know, it's quite courageous of him to like sort of sacrifice himself to sort of stay behind, because he didn't know if he was gonna die or not. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it was just, again, it's like it's continuing these themes of like redemption, like, you know, through or like trying to make amends of like bad situations, because that doctor guy will undoubtedly have felt responsible for this entire thing.
Yeah.
You know,
God.
But you know. And then when he's in the closet, and then when he comes out, and the broom falls, it's the worst moment ever.
Heart just drops.
The heart just sinks, and then there's that moment where you think, "Oh my god, he's done it!" But then the next shot, if you're a film person, or if you're just a person who pays attention to what's going on, you knew that it was a fake out. You know, because when he turns and looks at Joyce and they smile at each other, and I'm like, no. And then a dog swoops in, and then that's it. You know, and then there's that horrific shot later on when there's four of them just feasting on his body, and it's just horrible, man. It's just really awful. Bob was the glimmering, like just beacon of hope and love.
Like I said, Sean Astin, man. That's why he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because he's Sam, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh my god, yes, he's Sam. Holy shit. I didn't even realize. Oh. Oh
But I
my
think
god.
he got hired more because he was one of the main characters in the Goonies, which is heavily inspired this as well.
That's true. Again, references, man. They're all
Yeah.
the way through here, you know? And I was like, you know, oh my god.
Just thinking of references, Stranger Things 4, since you're like halfway through, have you seen like the big horror movie reference guy in it yet?
In season 4.
Yeah.
What, Freddy Krueger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got
It's just
Robert
Freddy Krueger.
England. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Freddy Krueger. It's like literally. Oh, we'll get onto that when we
Yeah.
talk about season 4. But like, but I love that. I love that. Season 3 is just Body Snatchers. And season 4 is clearly Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised not a lot more people are talking about. But yeah, season 3 is like reference city. Holy shit.
We'll get on to that.
We'll get onto that as well. But no, season 2. You know, and I love that afterwards we were saying to Bob that, like, you know, Bob's a superhero, because he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, and even there's even more references here to, like, I mean, I feel like season 2 was. I mean, I know it's not an 80s movie, but it was like it's quite Exorcist moment. You know, like especially like when Will is like really, when they tie Will up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're trying to appeal to himself inside, and he's doing that dead stare thing, which is quite scary, really, when you think about it. And like, oh, he's listening. Like, I'm sorry, I had to, and all that sort of stuff. It's like, fuck, man. You know what I mean? And just the whole thing of him just, and they're trying to like just talk and saying, do you remember this and you remember that? You know, and he's like, why am I tied up? You know, and it's like, and he's just staring you down the lens, down the eyes, and it's just, it's not great. It's not great. The idea of possession really freaks me out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I don't know if that's just the Catholic upbringing or in general, really. I mean, it's because, you know, it's, I don't know. It's like the whole idea of like, I mean, this is probably just people with severe mental health issues, but there is also that other side of like, well, you know, it's like, you know, it's like that case of, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I know you're not a religious man yourself.
Nope.
But where do you stand on the whole the idea of possession?
I mean, it's probably craziness. I don't know. Maybe devil does exist.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm technically Catholic, so when I go up there, I just need to repent and I'm done. That's how it works, baby.
I'm sorry, you know.
I'm sorry. That's real.
Turns out I was wrong.
But even though, if we go by Catholic rules, there's going to be more people with fun down there.
Well, exactly. I mean, if you're a staunch Catholic, I mean, like, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I haven't been for several years at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure where I stand on the whole thing, to be honest with you. I mean, I've drifted further and further and further away from it the older I've gotten.
Fair.
You know. But I do find it fascinating, though. I do find the whole mythology around.
Oh,
you know,
mythology within any religion is endlessly fascinating.
Endlessly fascinating, you know, and when it bleeds into reality, I find it even more interesting, because, like, what if the Ark of the Covenant was real? Do you know what I mean? Like what if it is hidden in a cave somewhere? Do you know what I mean? That we've not found. Like, isn't that mad? Or even the idea of the devil being real. You know what I mean? And you see it in things like Stranger Things. You see it in the idea of like this child being possessed by this demonic force, and it's screaming and flailing around and stuff like that. It was very Exorcist and all that sort of thing, you know. And it reminded me a lot of The Exorcist, which I still need to see.
Same.
You know, and I really want to see it, you know, because
it's one of them films that like been so heavily referenced, I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean, and it's like, but I've seen scenes from The Exorcist. I've seen like most of the iconic scenes and stuff, you know, and it's like, it does talk about the idea of evil, and it's like, I just find it fascinating because it's like, there's a, you know. It's like when you say like a little documentary about like the exorcism of Emily Rose, but like that's like based on a real thing, and I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the girl who it's based on, which was from like Germany or something like that, you know, and it was the tapes of her exorcism are on tape.
Yeah.
And or like the tapes of her exorcism are on tape. That sentence.
Yeah, I
does
just heard it.
Yeah, sorry, I just realized what I said. Sorry. What I meant was they're accessible. You can hear them on YouTube.
Yeah.
And dude, it's the most. I'm serious. It's the most horrific audio I've ever heard in my life. You know, and it may be someone with severe, which likely it was. You know what I mean? But it's like, what if it? You know, what if it was like the idea of the What
That's
if
the devil. It's the
that's
devil.
the devil.
Right
It's the devil. Can you hear it? No, so, but like, you know, it's not great to listen to. It's really quite disturbing
Harrowing.
and harrowing and scary. You know, like really quite ugh. You know, and you know, it's you know, it does bring up feelings of that. You know, and it's weird. You know, it's an odd one. I don't know. It's like, and you always wonder, like, would I don't know. I don't even know if I'd like to be present during that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then especially when you see like scenes like that in The Exorcist, and it's and there's this wonderful scene that just hits you to the bone when Father Marin arrives, and Father Karras are like meets him, and the two of them are like preparing to do the exorcism, and he's like and what's his name, Marin is all like the demon will try to weaken you. He will bring up things that only you know, and it'll try to weaken you, and it'll try to distract you. You must not listen. You must not listen, and you must like keep going with the exorcism, and that's the only way that will defeat it and stuff like that. And then Father Karras went, due to my experiences with it, I think there's like, it's displayed signs of, I think there's about like 2 or 3 personalities in there, maybe even 4. So I think there may be multiple personalities, and then he goes, there is only one. Oh, and it's like, Marin just cuts him off and goes, there is only one. And and there's just that moment where it chills you to the bone. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah. It's the devil, you know what I mean? It's like, it's evil. There is, you know, and it's like that's the power of it, man. And you know, and it's the same kind of thing in Stranger Things. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's, and even later on, you know, it's the idea of evil. You know, it's just always there, just lurking about and things like that. But thank God for American teenagers, because if it wasn't for them, we'd all be fucked.
Yeah.
You know, and Winona Ryder and David Harbour.
Yeah.
You know, I was entertained. I was entertained. I was engaged.
You're getting more references as the season
I
goes
understand more and more the references that everyone else was bringing up. And even when I was playing, I remember once in university, when I had the lads in the car and we were driving somewhere. I think I was dropping people off or whatever, and I was playing the greatest hits of the Police.
Yeah.
And of course, Every Breath You Take comes on. And again, knocking it out of the park for the soundtrack this season. The 80s is the best music, man. 80s and 70s.
Wait until the music of the 4th season.
Oh,
it's 2 bangers.
I know, like Running Up That Hill has already come on.
And right, you've had that episode, right? Yeah,
literally. And everybody, and of course, it's like now like the #1 stream song. Oh my god.
Dog has just turtled himself. With
Yes, and of course, Running Up That Hill has come on in season 4. Great song, man. So contemporary. As well, like that's the thing about like a lot of the 80s songs now. They're now because of the fads in music at the minute. It's starting to sound so exactly like the 80s is starting to sound so contemporary right now, which is great, you know. And it just shows like how ahead of its time it was in some senses. But yeah, like fucking Every Breath You Take came on in the car. And Jack went, oh, it's like the end of Stranger Things. And of course, like that's the end of Stranger Things season 2 came out. And he was just like, and of course, it's a great move. It's a great, actually, now that I think about it, perfect song to end it with. Because Every Breath You Take is the most, it's about a stalker, but it's the most misunderstood song in pop music. Because everybody, when it came out, and still some people to this day still think it's a love song.
Yeah.
Like people have had it played at their fucking weddings, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously at the time in the 80s, the kids probably would have thought of it as a love song. So it makes sense that like they're dancing. That when they're having the final dance together, and Hop and Joyce are like, consoling each other and they're comforting each other to this song that brought so much comfort, and like everybody thought was like the number one love song of the 80s or whatever. But then it flips.
Yeah.
And the upside down shows, and it shows that the Mind Flayer is like Flair. He's still there. He's still watching because he's still
every move you take.
Every breath you take, every move you make, I'll be watching you, and he is.
Yeah.
And I thought perfect. Absolutely perfect, because like it's everybody think, oh yeah, I'm dancing to Sting and the Police, and it's lovely, and I love you, and we're gonna fall in love, and Elle and Mike are together again, and and Dustin's showing that he's still loved by everyone, and and Nancy's there to give him an unnecessary boner, and and Lucas and Max are gonna get together, and and Hop's there for Joyce and everything. It's lovely, but no. The Mind Flayer is still there. He's still watching you, and I thought perfect way to end it, and it does. It ends really well. I was entertained. It kept me going though. I was like, all right, let's keep going. Weakest season though, I do think.
Yeah.
I do think season 2 is the weakest. But I know that on the internet there is a consensus that people think that season 3 is the weakest season,
which we'll talk about next week.
Which we will talk about next week.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, we'll get into my thoughts about that one, because I've got an interest in the thoughts on that on season 3. But yeah. But no, season 2, enjoyed it. It's a shame that I felt it was more or less the same as season 1, but with a different lick of paint. That being said, I still enjoyed it, and it made me continue with the season. But I do think it is the weakest season thus far. And that's my thoughts on season 2.
Yeah.
So and plus other things that we talked about our university experience, but. That's the joy of this podcast.
Yeah, we just go on random tangents.
We might do, yeah. We might, in fact, we might even be in Downing Street by next week. You never know. talking live about Stranger Things season 3 rather. Sorry.
We're getting Nadine Dorris on, Minister of Cultures.
What are your thoughts? But no. So yeah, I mean, that's it, man. That's my thoughts.
Yep, let's go for next week then.
Let's do it.
Part 3 for our 4-part series.
Excellent.